Hi there. So when I was picking out the one, Joe, of course, it was a lot of ups and downs, and it probably is in everybody's relationship. And I remember some experiences that helped me decide and realize that Joe was the right one for me. Thought it'd be fun to share. So the one big story that I remember the most was Joe and I hadn't been dating very long, and he and I had gone on I think a triple date with some other friends a half hour away from where we were going to college, and we had done some fun activities that day. One of them was going to a park, and we were taking pictures, and I had accidentally left my camera on the ground. We had continued swinging or something. I'd left my camera there. And I can remember getting back home and taking off my makeup and getting in my PJs, and I was just about ready for bed. But I had just seen Joe's sister in the dorm lobby, and I had told her that I forgot my camera. Silly me, but I wasn't going to worry about it. It wasn't an expensive, fancy camera. And so I go in and get all ready for bed, and the phone rings, and it's Joe, who Susan had told him that I'd forgotten my camera. And he says, well, let's go get your camera. And I wasn't going to turn down another chance to be with this guy that I was falling for. And so I quickly got dressed and got my makeup on, and Joe picked me up, and we drove a half hour out to get my camera, which was right where I'd left it. And then on the way home, now this is rural Idaho, much more rural than it is now. And on the way home, his car stopped working, and we were stuck in the middle of nowhere. And I thought it was so interesting, because when you get to see somebody in a difficult situation, an unprepared situation, you get to see how they act, how they react to situations. That's a really good thing to see. And we were able to walk through some brush and get to a light that we saw that was a trailer home that let us use their phone to call Joe's folks. And then we sat there for a long time and waited and talked about, asked questions about each other's families. I remember having that discussion. I remember it being super awkward on the way home, because they put a rope between their station wagon and the little car we were in. Joe's whole family's in the station wagon. I'm in the station wagon. I don't even know them. And they're asking me questions. His mom's asking me, like, what did we do while we were sitting there in the dark for all that time? And I'm talking about, the questions that we asked each other. It was really good to see how Joe handled that situation. He was calm, and he was kind, and he didn't worry me, and he was protective. So when you're looking for the one, it's good to see how they might act in certain situations. Maybe cooking a meal with them, or how do they react when you have a good accomplishment? Do they praise you and appreciate you and excited for you? Just different things like that. There was one time when we were doing a prom kind of night. I think it was a girl's choice, and I had invited Joe. And so my roommates and I had decorated up the apartment. We'd planned a dinner beforehand and games, and Joe came over, and we had planned these questions for the hardly wed game. Not the newlywed game, but the hardly wed game, and had some other friends host this game show for us and ask questions. And I'll never forget this one question that they asked Joe while I was out of the room, and then write down the question and then see what I say, kind of thing. He said, how long do you think it took your date to get ready for this evening? And this is interesting, because Joe's response might sound contrived or, too charming, but Joe doesn't say things he doesn't mean. And I was starting to realize that. And Joe's response to how long did it take your date to get ready was, well, she looked like it took her an hour and a half, but she's so efficient. I bet she did it in 15 minutes. And that was so sweet. And I really did feel his sincerity. As someone or you might be looking for the right one, it's important to see that sincerity, to know that they say what they mean, and they mean what they say, and they do what they say. Notice if you and the other person lift each other up, if you use kind words, kind words and not sarcasm, just kind communication so that you can work things out. If there's one thing I am so thankful for, it is Joe being so calm and kind. And I know I found the right one. Joe and I recently wrote a book, and it's called On the Same Page. And mostly we use it to give to newlyweds when they get married. So it's a workbook, and it talks about lots of different things to get on the same page. The two of them to get on the same page about budgeting, about traditions, about things they might buy, about children, about their families, important dates to remember, favorite things to remember, just so many fun ideas. But golly, I kind of wish we'd had this at the beginning of our marriage, because if we could get on the same page about those things right from the beginning and kind of have a discussion maybe once a week just about a different page and learn to get on the same page, I think that would really help. I think that would have helped us. Anyway, lots of ideas, lots of thoughts. As I think about Joe, I know he was the right one for me. And I thought I'd share these thoughts with you in case you're picking out the right one or one of your children's picking out the right one. It's just good to keep your eyes wide open. Joe's dad used to say, keep your eyes wide open before you get married, and then after you get married, keep them halfway shut. And I always kind of took that as to mean you're just focusing on the one person you're married to. And you do need to keep your eyes wide open. Make those good choices. Thanks for listening. Hope you have an absolutely joyful day.